All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for the AI Breakfast Lab. Welcome, welcome, guys. Yesterday we did some fun stuff. This is all about observation and orientation, right? In addition to that, then you need to make a decision to take action, right? Though that's what we call our OODA loop. Now, today, if you're a guest, you're probably going to be an getting oriented and observing what we're doing. We're going to show you everything you can that we possibly can in this hour. And then, of course, ultimately, if you like what you see, we ask that you make a decision and take action. That's what the DEA stands for, decision and action. It's not something we came up with, but you could do a search on that if you'd like to. Um, it's real simple. It's called the OODA loop, and it's a great process for learning and education that we promote here at Momentum Tech. All right, so let's get to sharing the screen and let's show you what we did. First and foremost, I want to make it very clear that we did start a book yesterday, and I was showing you the process of working with to catch everybody up with the ghostwriter. And we were able to write and finish a book.
Well, it looks like we lost Mr. Ed here for a moment. Maybe he'll be coming back here in a minute. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen while we're waiting for Ed to pop back on. And I'll show you some of the tools that we have to actually write books. In fact, we have a book writing conference or boot camp coming up here pretty quickly. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and I'll put this in the chat in case you want to join this. It's only $39, and in fact, you should invite guests because anybody who does join this are going to need a subscription to our system to actually write their book. So this is a great way to get people into your community. All right, there we go. AI Book Bootcamp is in the chat. And then I am going to go ahead and open up a new browser. We'll take a look at some of the book writing tools that we have in our system. This is designed to not just write a book for you, right? You don't want to just have a generic book about a topic that you're familiar with. You want to really apply your genius into these books, and they actually do prompt you to put your genius in the books, as Ed was sharing with you yesterday.
Did I lose you, James?
Yeah, you did, but sounds like you're back on now. Let me make sure you're co-host here. Yep, you're co-host. So
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
just
I
kind
lost
of
you. So
yeah, you
let me
dropped off, but I was just kind of showing them some of the book writing tools while you're getting geared
tools
back
while
up
you're
there.
going here. Give me a second here to
Yeah,
cover some details. That would be great. Just give me a moment here, okay?
yeah, go ahead, get ready, and I'm going to cover some of the details while you're doing that. We have a book research tool. If you're not quite sure exactly how you want to write your book, this book research tool does a tremendous job with research. You can put in a topic, a target reader, just a little description of your target reader, your primary goal for the book, secondary goals, or any constraints that you want to put in there. Like one of the things Ed was doing yesterday with the book is he's saying, hey, don't make it too salesy. I don't want it to be too salesy. I want it to be more instructional, more helping people write their authority book, because something happens when you're a published author that doesn't happen otherwise. People tend to really see you in a more credible way. Industry niche for your book, geography focus, your desired tone, voice and style, comparable or aspirational books, keywords or phrases you might want in your book, time horizon, when you're going to publish it, depth of research. This is where you can actually decide how deep you want to research this topic. You can go all the way up to 5 or down to 1. Enable live web research. You want the system to go out on the internet and pull some data in. And then anything, if you happen to have some outlines or something on your book, you can even upload a file here. You know, how long do you want the book to be? Preferred citation style, and you can have a drop down here. It could be MLA, Chicago, Harvard, IEEE, or none. And sensitivity concerns, you know, legal constraints. You want to, maybe you want to have this where it's, you know, geared towards youth, or maybe it's geared towards seniors. And then once you submit it, this will give you a tremendous amount of research on your book. And it's, you know, I tell you, I've paid $10,000 a month for 15 months building franchises, trying to get research on those franchises. And I can get more out of this research tool in 15 minutes than I could out of those researchers. And then there's a book clarity coach here that's designed to help you get more clarity on your book, Book 360. If you already have a pretty good idea what you want to do with your book, you can just go right here to the Ghostwriter and you can get started. Now, one of the things that you want to do is you want to start a new thread. This is a thread right here on Ghostwriter. Notice this one is focused on momentum tech. You can start a new chat here and then name that chat or that thread what you're going to name the book. And so, you know, you might do a book on, I'll rename this, and I'm going to call it Letting Go and Letting Grow. Okay, so letting go and letting grow is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. So some of you may know my 15-year-old daughter has been in France since September, exploring France, and she's out there for about 11 months as an exchange student. At the end, I'll be going out there for a few weeks to travel with her and get to go see some of her favorite places. And this was a 5-year goal of hers. So when she first came to me about it, you know, at about the age of 9.5, 10 years old, and said, "Hey, Dad, you know, I'm gonna when it's time for me to go to 10th grade, I'm going to France for as an exchange student." I told her, "That's great, babe. Great goal. You know, I would never try to squash my kid's goal. I think you should work on that." And I never thought that I thought she would get bored with the idea and wouldn't hear any more about it. But she proved me wrong. I mean, she worked diligently for 5 years towards that goal. And it was really tough for me to let her go and let her grow. So I'm actually have a first very substantial draft on that journey I walked through with my daughter to let her go and let her grow. And so the way that I really wrote that book was I came in here and I clicked this mic. And Ed, you can tell me when you want to jump in here at any time. I'm just kind of showing them how I've used this tool in the past.
Yes.
So basically, I come in here with this mic and I clicked and I told a story, you know, like I'm talking right now. You can see the mic is on, so it's actually capturing my words. And I said, you know, this book is going to be a true story about the journey that I've had with my daughter from the time she was about 9.5 years old. She had written a paper in lower elementary about another country. It was an assignment that she had. She needed to write about another country. She needed to write about another culture. And for one reason or another, she chose France. And in writing this paper, she fell in love with the country, and not only just the country, but she fell in love with the history, because even though she's a mathematical genius, she is a history buff. She loves history. And actually, she loves how math ties to history in some way I don't quite totally understand. But she fell in love with the history there. She fell in love with the culture. She fell in love with the people. And she came to me one day and said, "Hey, Dad, you know, when I'm ready for 10th grade, I'm going to France as an exchange student." And of course, I encouraged her dreams. And encouraged her to work on that. And I just thought that she would never, she would get bored with it and that would never come to fruition. And I'd never have to go through the struggle of deciding to truly let her go. And in fact, God really finally placed it on my heart. And that's where those words come from. Let her go and let her grow. That's the words God gave me in prayer. And so this is how I really began the book. Now I'm going to pause it just for a moment. And you'll see that this is now written, everything that I've said. So this is a book that's not going to be a generic book about letting your child go and letting your child grow. This is very tied to the experience that I've had with my daughter personally in letting her go and letting her grow. And so once I kind of told this little story, then I came back and I could just submit this. I could put up here, something like this. Watch this. Hey, Ghostwriter, we're going to write a book. This is a true story about an experience with me and my daughter that started when she was about 9.5 years old. I'm going to feed in a little bit of information right now, and I'm going to come back and later, and I'm going to continue to feed in information. And eventually, once I give you all the information, I want us to write a book about this. And I'm going to pause this now. And so I can feed this information into Ghostwriter, and Ghostwriter will analyze it and save it for me. Now, since I saved this thread, letting go and letting grow, now I can go back once this processes and I can add more. So you don't have to try to think of your entire story all at one setting. You can kind of go little bits and bites and pieces at a time. And this is exactly what I did. And Ghostwriter, between Ghostwriter and myself, now we have this amazing book that my daughter and I are going to co-publish, and we're going to do two versions of it. One, or not two versions, but a double series. One prior to her going on her journey up into the point where I physically let go of her at the airport, which wasn't an easy thing to do when she flew from Chicago to France. And then the next book will be about her adventures in France and how she got to share some of those adventures with me when I go out there at the end and spend some time with her. And I see Ghostwriter is processing what I put in here.
That's a great example, guys, of how we started yesterday with the Ghostwriter to kind of go backwards. The Ghostwriter is programmed to write books, whether it's a fictional book, a novella, like a novel with multiple chapters, maybe a series of books. You could write children's books with it. You could do all kinds of stuff with the Ghostwriter. It's trained already. It has the knowledge base of just about any type of writing skills in any language too. So if you want to write it and you want to speak to it or write it, in Spanish or anything like that, if your computer's set up like that, you can write a book in Spanish, or you want to write a book in French, or you want to write whatever you want to do. It's trained to do just about anything you want. And the great news about it is once you write your book with the Ghostwriter is capable of doing a lot of other things too. It's capable of writing copy, like blogs and articles and social media posts and video scripts and just everything that you need to promote your book. Right? And that's the beautiful thing about it. These GPTs in our platform, whether it's the Ghostwriter or it's the Wow GPT or it's Ask Ed or Ask Leo or Ask Zig or Ask Napoleon Hill or Ask Jim Rohn. These guys are programmed like synthetic intelligence. They want to do the work for you, and they have different specialties, just like our AI tutors for the Magic Kids. The math tutor is specialized in math from first grade to 12th grade. And we have those types of tutors on the platform, science tutors, geography tutors, all kinds of cool stuff for kids, homeschoolers, and kids that need help with science or geography or calculus or geometry or algebra or multiplication, anything like that. So That's the beautiful thing about our platform. So very diverse, and it's a closed network. So let me hide my floater thing here. Let's see here. Share my sound too. And let's see, get this out of the way. Do you have something blocking it, James? Black?
No, no, no. I'm
On
not
me?
sharing.
No,
Nope,
on
I'm not
me.
sharing.
You can see my entire screen?
Yeah, yeah. See your entire screen. Sure.
All right, great, 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 great. All right, so this is the book that we wrote yesterday. I got a name for it. We use the ghostwriter. It's called The Founder's Guide to Writing Your Authority Book with AI by Ed Garza and James Penny. Okay. So obviously we need some other things behind this, but I want to show you kind of the concept. It's not formatted yet, but let's look at it. Let's look at the first introduction here. Writing with AI, founders' real worries. You're thinking about writing a book. You know it could open doors, build credibility, maybe even change your business. But there's the voice in your head asking, what if it sounds robotic? What if people can tell I used AI? Will it still sound like me? Great question, right? Well, let's talk about that. I've worked with hundreds of founders who had the same worries. They didn't want to sound salesy. They didn't want to push something generic that could have been written by anyone. And they absolutely didn't want to spend 2 years writing when they had a business to run, right? Here's what I've learned. The best books aren't written by people who have endless time. They're written by people who have clarity about what they want to say and the right tools to say it well. The 5 worries every founder has. Worry number 1, it'll sound robotic. I get it. You've read AI generated content that feels flat, repetitive, and weirdly formal. But here's the thing, AI doesn't make your writing robotic. Bad prompts do. Bad AI platforms do. Using ChatGPT does, and not prompting it right. Input in gives you your output. What you put in is what you get out. The great news about the ghostwriter, you don't have to train it to be a writer. It's already a ghostwriter. It's more capable than any ghostwriter that you could possibly even hire. I promise you that. Okay? So you don't need to have prompts. You just need to speak your knowledge and your intellectual intelligence and your expertise into it and have it start organizing your chapters. You could tweak it, you could adjust it, just like I did yesterday and like I did last night when I was working on this. Bad prompts do it. Skipping the human edits does. When you use AI as a co-author, not a replacement, you get speed without sacrificing your voice. You draft fast and you edit to make it sound like you. That's the workflow that works. Worry number 2, will anyone believe I actually wrote it? That's one tricky. This one's tricky because it touches on originality. But let's flip it. When you hire a ghostwriter, did you write the book? When you dictate ideas to an assistant who cleans them up, who wrote it? Great question. The truth is, books have always been collaborative. The difference now is that your collaborator is AI instead of a person. You're still the one with the insights, the stories, the unique point of view. AI just helps you get it out of your head and into a page faster. Worry number 3, what if the facts are wrong? Valid concern. AI can hallucinate statistics. It can misquote studies or invent case studies that never happened. And that's why you never skip the fact check process. Think of AI as your fast drafting intern, brilliant at structure and flow, terrible at verification. Your job is to run everything through a credibility check before you publish. We'll show you exactly how to do that in chapter 8. Worry 4, will it still sound like me? Well, this is a big one. You have a way of talking to clients, a rhythm. a set of phrases that feel authentically you. Can AI capture that? Yes, but only if you teach it. You'll create a simple style guide, your favorite sentence structures, the words you avoid, how formal or casual you want it to be. Then you use that guide to train the AI and edit every draft it produces. The result, a book that sounds like a conversation you'd have with a client over coffee. Clear, confident, and unmistakably yours. What do you think of it so far, James?
Love it. Perfect. It's true to every word.
Yes, worry number 5. I don't want it to be salesy. Neither do your readers. They can smell 200-page sales pitch from a mile away and they'll put it down. The books that build authority aren't the ones that sell, they're the ones that teach. They answer real questions, share frameworks, and make the reader smarter. If you do that well, the sales take care of themselves. Let me ask you guys, put a 10 in the chat if you think this book so far is doing a good job of not being salesy, but being educational and informative, and is doing the job of what we want it to do. Put a 10 in the chat if you agree with me. I think it's doing a great job. The path forward. This book is your roadmap. I'm not going to promise you'll write a bestseller in a weekend or that AI will do all the work for you, but it will show you a system that works, one that's fast, founder friendly, and produces books that sound human, not generated. We'll start with the business case, why your time is worth the investment. Then we'll build a plan, choose the right tools, and walk through every step from outline to published book. By the end, you'll have a manuscript, a cover, and an audio book ready to go. Let's get started. What do you guys think of that? Like it? Yes.
I love it.
Chapter 1, the business case for your book. Time, ROI, authority. The founder's friction. You don't have time to write a book. Between running the company, managing the team, and keeping clients happy, writing feels like a luxury you can't afford. But here's the real question. Can you afford not to? Every week you spend without a book is a week someone else in your space is building authority. They're getting the podcast invitations, the speaking and gigs, the inbound leads from people who read their book and thought, this person gets it. The answer, a book isn't a time sink. It's a time multiplier. One well-written book replaces 100 sales conversations, 1,000 LinkedIn posts, and a dozen pitch decks. It answers your prospects' questions before they even reach out. It positions you as the expert they want to work with, not just another vendor. And with the right system, you can go from idea to published in weeks, not years. The one reader promise. Before you write a single word, get clear on this. What is the one transformation your book delivers? Not 3 things, not a list of 10 benefits. One clear promise that your reader can state in a single sentence. Examples. After reading this, you'll know exactly how to hire and onboard a fractional CFO. I have a repeatable framework to turning prospects into retained clients. I'll understand how to write and publish a business book in 90 days. The promise becomes your filter. Every chapter, every section, every example should move the reader towards the outcome. If it doesn't, cut it. The 3 measurable outcomes. Let's talk ROI. A book gives you 3 things you can measure: authority, amplification. Number 1, when you write a book, you stop being a consultant and you start being the consultant who wrote the book on X. That shifts how prospects perceive you before you even speak to them. You'll see it in higher close ratios because trust is already established, shorter sales cycles, less time spending educating, inbound leads working to work with you specifically. One founder I worked with saw this close jump rate from 40 to 72% within 6 months of publishing. Same service, same pricing. The only difference was the book. Number 2, speaking with visibility opportunities. Event organizers don't book speakers, they book authors. A book is your ticket to stages, podcasts, panels, where your ideal clients are already gathered. You like what you're seeing here, guys? See how it's guiding? Pipeline acceleration, right? I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to give you some highlights of how speed compounds opportunity, right? Speed matters. The founder's formula. Time to write. Cost of your time. Return. If one client covers the cost of writing, everything after that is profit. Do the math. It works. All right, here's chapter 2. We're going to format this, right? But eventually, I'm going to show you, we go through everything. And then in chapter 7 and 8, what ends up happening is we start pointing them to the best tools in the market to do this, right? And what do you think those tools are? Or there are book writing tools, right? That we have. And we have a lot of book writing tools. All right. So the entire book is about a little over 10,000 words, right? And we got to do some formatting to it. Right. So again, you can see here's a tool step. Once you have a draft chapter, open Book Critic. Where's Book Critic at, James?
And the book writing tools.
That's right. It's in our AI platform. Yeah. Upload it. Set your genre of business and your goal to authority building, and Book Critic will give you professional level feedback. Right? You don't need a 300-page book, right? Maybe you need something, 100 pages or 180 pages in print. 10 chapters, right? Possibly. It doesn't have to be that long. Control scope, one promise per chapter. So you got the Book Critic, right? Then here's where the magic happens. From one book, you can create 10 in the Ghostwriter. You can create 10 lead magnets, one per chapter, right? If you have 10 chapters, there's lead magnets for each chapter, right? 50 LinkedIn posts like key insights, frameworks, mini cases, 10 video scripts, one email nurture sequence, a webinar script, right? You got a lot of content. The books, authority books, are the foundation to content marketing, really, in a lot of ways, right? So you can see the book is loaded with information. And we're going to publish this. James and I are going to publish this book. Yes, we are. And we're going to use it as a lead source, right? 100%. So here's you have a general idea for your book, but it's fuzzy. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to talk with the book, what? Clarity Coach. Where's that at, James?
And the book writing tools in our system.
That's right. This is where you start. Book Clarity Coach asks you hard questions. What's your expertise? Who's your audience? What transformation are you making? Right? There you go. So see how what about book research? We've already went over that. Where's that tool at? That's in our platform. Right? See how it guides it slowly into it? The book research tool, what it can do, what you're going to get. What about Book 360? Where's that at? That's in our platform. It's your deep thinking partner, right? It asks you questions and it gets you clarity, more clarity, fast drafting. We work with the ghostwriter. What does a ghostwriter do? Where's that at? That's in our platform. It's where speed happens. It takes your outline, it turns it into, the prose you want, right? Into your book, into your chapters, fast. You give it the chapter title and it rocks and roll. It gets your job done, right? Now, it fits your style, right? That's what it does. Then you can see here, humanizing. So guess what? You want to humanize your copy? Guess where that tool's at?
In our system.
That's right. You can humanize the copy. Ghostwriter can get you 80% there, maybe get you 100%. Maybe you're happy with it. The humanizer takes you the rest of the way. You can actually take AI generated text. Sometimes can feel too smooth, too polished, too perfect. The humanizer adds natural flow, subtle imperfections, and rhythm. It makes your writing sound like a real person wrote it, because ultimately you did. You just had help. Okay? So you want to make it sound like you, right? Maybe you want to cut the jargon, shorten sentences, right? Then, what about all the facts? The fact checker. You want to check all the facts for credibility. Where's that tool at, James?
In our system.
That's right. Everything here is in our system. The fact checker scans your man. Everything. What about the book critic? That's on our platform also. Could criticize your book, right? Give you good feedback. What about a book cover? We're going to create a book cover here real quickly for this book. We'll show you how that works. Great, stunning book covers. Yeah. And what about an audio book? Listen, most founders stop, and this is true. Most founders stop at ebooks and print. Big mistake. Audiobooks are growing faster than any other format, and they're perfect for busy executives who listen on commutes. Would you agree? Create your audiobook, convert your manuscript into a professional audiobook with lifelike AI voices. You can choose the tone, pacing, and style. Write for the ear. This is a pro tip, guys. Write for the ear from the start. Read your chapters out loud, like I just did, as you edit. If sentence feels clunky when spoken, rewrite it. Your audiobook will thank you. After your manuscript is final and edited, then start your full audiobook. And of course, these are some of the platforms: Audible, Apple Books, or even on your website, like we did with The Gentle Meadow. We've done a lot of audiobooks, right? So here are the tools, right? These are the tools. The full workflow at a glance. The book clarity coach, the book research, the book 360, the ghostwriter, the humanizer, your edit, the fact checker, book critic, create a book cover, create your audiobook. Each tool has one job. You move through them in order, and the result is a book that's fast, credible, and sounds exactly like you. So open up your doc or a project board and create 10 columns, one for each phase. As you write your book, move each chapter through the workflow. Track where each chapter is so you know exactly the next step. So there you go. What do you guys think of the book so far? You like it, right? Very practical. We just got to format it, make it look good, and turn it into an audio book. And, you can start with 10 buyer questions before you write anything. This is like where to start, right? What are your buyers asking? Yeah. What are they asking? So these are 10 examples. All right, as an example. So you could flip those questions to a learning objective. What your reader will know, believe, and be able to do after reading the chapter. Right? So this gives them an example and a framework where to start. So let me ask you guys, now that you've observed what our actual book writing tools can do, and they can do it really well, have you made a decision that you want to write a book because you're an expert and you want to write an authority book yet? So how do you even take action on this? Well, first of all, if you haven't joined our platform, you should join the platform, number one. And then you should probably invest in joining us for the AI Book Bootcamp. We're going to give you this book as well as a formula to writing your authority book. We don't charge a lot for it. It's $39 for the boot camp. It's worth thousands of dollars. To hire a ghostwriter, you're going to pay $10,000 to write your book. If you want to pick up the shovel and stick it in the dirt, then register for the AI Book Bootcamp, guys. Get your authority book written. Lead with your authority book instead of leading with a social post. Lead with an authority book instead of handing somebody a business card. Okay? So again, guys, this book is loaded with great information. And we're going to publish it, and it's going to be a gift for anybody that registers for the AI Book Bootcamp, right? Before we publish it. So you'll get first play at it. You'll get the audio book and everything. All right. So we're going to work, James and I are going to work on this. So this is just loaded with stuff, loaded with information. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a thumbnail, right? Excuse me, not a thumbnail, a book cover using the platform. Okay. So you see, it goes through everything you can possibly think of. And it's about 109 pages, James. Right? We got to clean it up a little bit, right? We got to clean it up a little bit, and we will, right? So this goes through everything that a founder would go through, right, to organize the entire book and to organize their marketing, right, as well. So excellent. I think that's a good overview of what we did. So let's go back in the platform and let's create a business book cover. I'll show you what that looks at. Right under Write Your Book Tools, we have a book, create your book cover here. So the name of the book is The Founder's Authority Book, or maybe just The Founder's Authority. Let's do that. Let's copy that. Let's go back up. The Founder's Guide to Writing Your Authority Book. Founder's Guide to Writing Founder's Authority Book. The Founder's Guide to Writing Your Authority Book with AI. Yeah, let's do that. That's very clear what the book is about, right? Yeah. Cool. So let's copy that. And we're going to go to the book cover. So we're going to put our name of our book right here. And then we're going to put our names here. Okay. Ed Carson and James Moneypenny. And we're going to put our description here. I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to get maybe a little bit of description in here. Let's just copy this, see what it does. This does not cost you anything to create this book cover, and it creates a stunning book cover. Now we could choose some of the colors. We want to build trust. So James, I know what it is, but just for the audience to understand a little bit, tell what colors are good for trust.
Yeah, so blue is really good for trust. Green is good, green and blue.
Okay. Any other colors you want to use? Gray or black or?
Yeah, we could use a little black. I like black in my covers.
Okay.
More than gray.
Okay. Good. Now all we do is click on generate. Now it's going to generate, takes a few minutes, doesn't take 7 minutes, it takes a few minutes to generate about 6 or 7, maybe 8 different book covers. This gives you a draft book cover, right? You could take this book cover and you could change it and edit it and generate more. And we have an editing tool right in the platform. And what's unique about this book cover is it's programmed. You don't need prompt in this. Just input your information. It designs stunning professional book covers effortlessly. Powered by AI, whether you're an author, publisher, or marketer, this app allows you to create eye-catching, personalized book covers that make your book stand out from the competition. I mean, with AI-driven design capabilities, creating the perfect cover has never been easier, guys. You don't need to put this in ChatGPT or put it in any other platform that creates images. It knows exactly what you need, and it creates stunning book covers. All of our book covers are designed here, right? It certainly gives you a foundation for it, right? So we're doing a book cover for this book that we wrote, right? So we can have a nice book cover for this. We're going to go beyond the ebook on this. We're going to go to a published book. Okay? So let's go ahead and get back to the platform. I'm going to open up a separate window. And now that we rewrote this a little bit, I'm going to take chapter 1, or the introduction, and I'm going to copy the introduction here before chapter 1 and go through all the worries. Let's get started. Okay? Copy that. I'm going to make an audiobook so we can listen to this. I'm confident it sounds good, but I'm going to start the process. As that's generating, let's go back over here and let's go to our audiobook so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So write your book, and you can see right here, audiobook maker, right here. And there's the humanizer. There's the book cover. There's the book critic. There's the fact checker. There's the ghostwriter. There's the 360 book. And there's the book clarity coach. And there's the book research. Here is the audiobook maker. So we're going to create a book. Now we're just going to paste that chapter in here. This is the introduction. We're going to write the name of the book up here. Founder's Guide to Writing Your Book with AI. And we're just going to create the name of our book right here. And we're going to put the authors in here. And James Penny. And we're going to put a little description in here. We're just going to paste the same thing. It's just for our references points. And this is the introduction. This is for me, so I could go back to it. All right, that's the introduction. And the introduction would be, the topic would be writing with AI, founders' real worries. Right? Let's copy that. Wow, those are looking good. Let's look at those now. All right. So now we can go. Let's just say welcome to. I'm going to say welcome to. Welcome to Writing with AI. Let me copy this. Welcome to the Founder's Guide to Writing Your Authority Book with AI. Let's discuss the topic. Okay, that's the topic. Writing with AI. The founder's real worries. That's how we'll start off. Okay. Excellent. All right. Now let's go ahead and choose a authority voice. Let's choose Brian. And let's go ahead and create that audio. And let's look at the book covers. All right. The Founder's Guide to Writing Your Authority Book. There's a few. Okay. Looks like we need to work on some of these. The Founder's Guide to Writing Your Authority Book with AI. That one looks kind of cool. Everything spelled right there?
Looks like it. Yeah. The Founder's Guide to Writing. It's a little fuzzy, but it looks correct. Authority book. Yep.
Yeah.
Can't tell what's in the sub. Oh, it says with AI. Okay. Sorry, it's a little fuzzy coming through right now on my internet.
That's okay. All right. Let's generate another one. Let's just choose guide to Founder's Guide. Let's keep it, let's shorten it to the Founder's Guide, and I could add, remember, this is a draft, right? I'm going to shorten it to the Founder's Guide, and I'm going to generate one that just, and then we could put to writing your authority book with AI, as we'll add that ourselves, right? So let's go through and let's see if we can create some more. This doesn't cost you, right? So let's generate some more. We got some time to do that. We got about 10 minutes left in the AI Breakfast Lab. And let's go listen to the audiobook now. Okay? Let's listen to the audiobook. Let me share sound. Yes, we're good. Here we go. Let's listen to it. 3 minutes long for the introduction. We could listen to all this. Yeah? Let's listen to it.
Welcome to the Founder's Guide to Writing Your Authority Book with AI. Let's discuss the topic. Writing with AI, the founder's real worries. You're thinking about writing a book. You know it could open doors, build credibility, maybe even change your business. But there's this voice in your head asking, what if it sounds robotic? What if people can tell I used AI? Will it still sound like me? Let's talk about that. I've worked with hundreds of founders who had the same worries. They didn't want to sound salesy. They didn't want to publish something generic that could have been written by anyone. And they absolutely didn't want to spend 2 years writing when they had a business to run. Here's what I've learned. The best books aren't written by people who have endless time. They're written by people who have clarity about what they want to say and the right tools to say it well. The 5 worries. Every founder has worry #1. It'll sound robotic. I get it. You've read AI-generated content that feels flat, repetitive, or weirdly formal. But here's the thing. AI doesn't make your writing robotic. Bad prompts do. Skipping the human edit does. When you use AI as a co-author, not a replacement, you get speed without sacrificing voice. You draft fast, then you edit to make it sound like you. That's the workflow that works. Worry #2. Will anyone believe I actually wrote it? This one's tricky because it touches on originality. But let's flip it. When you hire a ghostwriter, did you write the book? When you dictate ideas to an assistant who cleans them up, who wrote it? The truth is, books have always been collaborative. The difference now is that your collaborator is AI instead of a person. You're still the one with the insights, the story, statistics, misquote studies, or invent case studies that never happen. That's why you never skip the fact-check pass. Think of AI as your fast-drafting intern. Brilliant at structure and flow, terrible at verification. Your job is to run everything through a credibility check before you publish. We'll show you exactly how to do that in Chapter 8. Worry #4. Will it still sound like me? This is the big one. You have a way of talking to clients, a rhythm, a set of phrases that feel authentically you. Can AI capture that? Yes, but only if you teach it. You'll create a simple style guide. Your favorite sentence structures the words you avoid, how formal or casual you want to be. Then you use that guide to train the AI and edit every draft it produces. The result? A book that sounds like a conversation you'd have with a client over coffee. Clear, confident, and unmistakably yours. Worry #5. I don't want to be salesy. Neither do your readers. They can smell a 200-page sales pitch from a mile away, and they'll put it down. The books that build authority aren't the ones that sell. They're the ones that teach. They answer real questions, share frameworks, and make the reader smarter. If you do that well, the sales take care of themselves. The path forward. This book is your roadmap. I'm not going to promise you'll write a bestseller in a weekend or that AI will do all the work for you. But I will show you a system that works. One that's fast, founder-friendly, and produces books that sound human, not generated. We'll start with the business case. Why your time is worth this investment. Then we'll build a plan, choose the right tools, and walk through every step from outline to published book. By the end, you'll have a manuscript, a cover, and an audiobook ready to go.
Boom.
Let's
What do you
get
think of
started.
that, James? Pretty good, right? Couple edits.
Awesome.
So how do you even go about editing it, right? It's a great question, right? So really, really simple. All you have to do is make this a little bit smaller so I can see everything. Here's a button over here. It says edit. So I go into edit mode. I can make that bigger for you now. Sorry about that. Okay, and you can come in here, and I would expect to do some edits because it's AI, okay? Like, for example, here's some things that you probably should be aware of, like the hashtag. Instead of, let's just say worry, you probably should spell out number, right, James? Number one.
Yep.
So I'm going to copy that. That's the only things that it did wrong, right? So we copied that and we could paste that here. Perfect. And get rid of that hashtag and paste number there. Get rid of that hashtag and paste the number there. Perfect. Any questions on this? Why we're doing this, right? Some of the other things it won't understand is like FAQ questions. If you say FAQ, it'll probably really mess that up. So you probably should spell FAQ out. Frequently asked questions. What else does it have problems with? Sometimes AI is getting better at this. Sometimes it'll read number 5. Sometimes it'll read #5. But to avoid that, we saw what it did, so we're going to remove those. Okay. I think that was about it, right? Good. So then all we do is we generate. You can save it, right? Or you can update the audiobook. So I'm going to save the draft because we're going to add all the other chapters to this, right? So I saved the draft. See where it says draft? So it's saved, so I can come back to it and add all the other chapters, right? Let's see what we did on the book covers. Overall, I thought the book sounded great. Here we go. That looks a lot better, right? It's cleaner. We could add some other subtitle stuff in there, the founder's guide, and we can erase all that. I like the way that looks. That really looked really good and sharp. That looks, I like some of these too. That's kind of cool. That's a little different. Founder's guide. Founder's guide. This one looks really cool. I like the pin there, like a pin, like writing, right? Writing with AI, founders' real worries. Yeah. I think we could make some of these work really good. Yeah. I like them. I like the way it started. I like the writing tool there. The way it has a pen there. You see that, James?
I do.
Yeah, that looks really cool. Anyone stand out for you that you would like to edit? We have a few minutes here. I can show them how we edit.
I like
stuff.
the founder's guide. Let's see. I think down one. I mean, they all look pretty good, but scroll
This
up
one?
one more time. Yeah, that
This
one
one?
looks good. Or that one.
That one? You like that one?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me show you guys what you can do. So there's an edit tool over here, right? So you can come in here and you can edit. We have an editor in the platform. So let's edit. We have some Q&As or anything, any questions in the chat? No?
Let's see here. Not at the moment.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about editing here. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay. All right. Couple here. Left. There's an AI retouch button. So you click on that AI retouch and you can do like a magic remove, right? So circles here, you can determine the size of your circle, all right? So I'm going to make this circle a little bit bigger here. And I'm going to get rid of this copy right up front. Let's look here. We got rid of it. It's working on removing it. There you go. So now it's gone. The founder's guide. Now this says below it, writing with AI, founders' real worries. I like that, don't you, James?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and let's just go ahead and just erase this. There we go. Bada boom. See how easy that is, guys? So this is a basic editor in the platform. And it spelled our names right on the bottom, Ed Garza and James Penny. Very clean cover, right? So all you click on now is done, and it's saved. That's the cover. So I'll show you where you can see that. Let's refresh that page. And let's make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Now what you're going to see, if you want to see the second one, you see it has a little button here. It says 1 of 2. So you go to the second one. Okay. That's it. You go to the second one. See, everything's erased there. Wada boom, wada bam. There you go. Now, if you want to get more advanced, you can obviously take that into a designer like Canva or anything like that. And you can really customize it. You can add text to it. You want to add your picture there, you can add your picture there. You can do all kinds of stuff with it, right? So obviously the book needs a table of contents, and it needs it needs to be laid out before we go to publish it. And then we probably need to do the audiobook and do a read through it, and then listen to it ourselves, make sure we like it, and go from there. So, all right. James, I think that does it for us today. We have any Q&As. I think I saw some Q&As in the chat. I can't see there they are, Q&A questions.
Yeah, looks like everything's been answered so far. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and roll into our next meeting.
Yep, and everybody's answered the questions. And yes, I hear the voice. You hear this voice on YouTube. Yeah, there's a lot of different. Obviously, I hear these voices on commercials. You can clone your voice on the platform if you want to, too. Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and shift, guys. If you are interested in learning more and digging deep into the opportunity, stick around. This is the AI Breakfast Lab. It's here.